I do have to say we are not related to Brandon Sanderson, even though we have the same last name. We're also not related to the Sanderson sisters from the Target. I'm telling you. Hey guys, I'm Maddie Sanderson and this is This Bookish Cottage, and today's episode we are going to be going over a haul that I did. I need to preface all of my videos with letting you know that we do live on a houseboat, so if you hear noises like what's happening right now, it is impossible to try and keep things as quiet in here as we can get it. And one of my dogs, Phoenix, she is determined to wander while I record, apparently. So I'm sorry if you hear that. The reason why we're going to be doing this series in 3 different episodes is because with us moving on to the boat, this is a newer thing for us. It has only been a couple of months. We have absolutely loved it, but because of that, we had to get rid of a lot of our books whenever we first moved here. We didn't know what the space was going to be like necessarily. We also didn't know if it was going to be something that we could truly prioritize as much as we wanted. We always said that we will not give up the enjoyment of reading just so that we can live somewhere. But we weren't sure if it was going to be something where we will be visiting libraries a lot or anything along those lines, which we still do visit the library often, but that's beside the point. Once we finally moved onto the boat, we understood our space quite a bit better. As you can tell, there are bookcases right here, and we also have a lot more. Eventually, I will do a tour of our boat, but we are still in the process of moving in and still in the process of getting things really lined out and figured out where they're supposed to go, so our house is a bit of a mess. So for right now, you're just gonna have to trust me. We have a bookcase behind the camera. We have we have 3 bookcases in our bedroom, and I believe that that is all. The problem with having that many bookcases is that we then needed to fill these bookcases because, again, we got rid of a lot of our books whenever we first moved in here. We would stock little libraries with them. We turned some of them in so that we could get some credit from one of our favorite places that we like to get our books from. We also did, we did sales, we donated. I mean, it was all over the place because we had so many books. Now, we have so many more books. It's pretty insane how many books we ended up getting. I think whenever we moved onto this boat, the amount of books that we have kept from our previous location to here is we may have kept, I want to say maybe like 20, maybe 30, maybe. I'd really have to go in and look. Most of like these older books we kept because I really like the decor of like old books, because cottage core is kind of what we do. And then everything over here, this entire bookcase, let me just show you that for a second. This entire bookcase, those are all new books. So with that, we're going to be going over all of the books that we have gotten from random little places like Dollar Tree, of all places, Savers, Goodwill, which my husband finds the best steals at Goodwill. I wanted to show every single one of them, but I also do not want this video to be like 5 hours long. So if it's in a series, I'm just going to kind of show the series. I'm going to give a little synopsis, because also most of these books I have never read. Most of the books on this boat have not been read by me, or my husband for that matter. So it's going to be an exciting year because I have a lot to choose from, which is wonderful and also exhausting to think about at the same time, but it's also exciting. The first store or place or whatever where we got a lot of the books is we're going to do Dollar Tree. We only got a couple of books, not really that many, but a couple of them. So I'm going to show you those real briefly. I'm not going to really give you a synopsis of all these, otherwise we're going to be here forever. But I just kind of want to show you what you can find at your local Dollar Tree. So we have Winds of Marquis. We have Liberation. And if I drop these, Mirrorland. And some of these, by the way, it is amazing. I'll talk about it in just a second. Hold on, I'll show you. A Room Called Earth. Dead Girls. Some of these are literally from the Target. Are from Target. And I guess it was just like an overstock. I think that's how they get most of their books, is just overstock. And then you only buy them for $1.25, which is incredible. Treasure of the World. And then Golden State. I had never heard of most of these books except for the Dead Girls. I had heard of that one, and I have been very excited about getting into those because I love mystery books. But the rest of these I had never heard of, but they looked really, really good, and you cannot go wrong with $1.25 from Dollar Tree. I'm telling you. Our next stack of books come from an incredible day that my husband took me and our daughter Piper on. And it was, we went to Tulsa because we live in Oklahoma. We're right on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas. And he took us to Tulsa, and we spent the entire day going to all the different little libraries around there because there's so many. And then we also went to our favorite bookstore, which is called Gardner's. If you've never heard of that, I highly recommend visiting them if you're in that area. But then we happened to be there at the same time that they were doing like this big book sale. I'm not sure what it was for, but I know that the proceeds went to like different nonprofits in the area, and all of the books were donated. And they were anywhere, like you had, I think it was $1 for paperbacks, $2 for hardbacks, and like $4 for special versions of books. Which we were like, yes, please, sign us up. So that's what this stack is. First we have Go Set a Watchman. All the Lost Places. The Cuckoo's Calling. Which also, if you've never looked into The Cuckoo's Calling, I had no idea, just because I hadn't paid attention, I guess. I don't know. I lived under a rock. Sure, why not? This is actually written by J.K. Rowling. She just went with a different name. I thought that was pretty awesome. I don't know. I mean, I guess, of course, like, why wouldn't you do that if you wrote Harry Potter and everybody's going to expect that from you? Why not? So then we went with this series. I can't hold them all up at the same time because I'm trying to stabilize everything. But it's Peter and the Starcatchers. And we got 3 of these books. We got this one. Ooh, this one's heavy. This one. And then this one. We love getting anything that has to do with, I mean, some of our favorite movies like Peter Pan and stuff like that. And then, of course, books for our daughter. And then I was able to find The Golden Braid, which this is an older book. I think it was written in 2018, but it has to do with Rapunzel, and I love Rapunzel. She is my absolute favorite Disney princess. So the next one we got was Thief, Liar, Lady, and this one was $4, but it's an incredible shape, hardback, awesome, awesome find. And then the last thing that we got from there was Bridge of Clay, and it's actually a signed copy, which is pretty cool. I mean, no big deal. And that one was also $4. I am sorry if the lighting is getting like weird and changing, or if I'm changing positions. I'm having to get up and down a lot and like bring over the stacks of books because there's just no way I could put them all around me. So I'm really sorry if it's making things look weird. The next stack that we are going to be going over is the books that we have bought off of Marketplace. If you haven't looked on Marketplace, again, I highly recommend it because we have gotten some incredible finds on there. And it's just people who either don't realize the books that they have, or they do but they don't care. They're just wanting someone else to get the book so that they can love it. So first off, we have Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. And I do have to say, we are not related to Brandon Sanderson, even though we have the same last name. We're also not related to the Sanderson sisters, which would, you know, be kind of cool. Then we have Starsight, also by Brandon Sanderson. And I am a little, like, perplexed as to what to do because we have a hardcover and a paperback. Like, that means I'm going to have to rebuy one of the books or just not care enough And I want to try and go with not care enough, but I think I do care too much for it. And so then we have, this came from the same person, we have Children of Blood and Bone, and then Children of Virtue and Vengeance. We have The Hawthorne Legacy, Fairy Tale, The Personal Librarian. And I don't usually buy books like this in paper or hardcover. I always buy them in paperback because I'm just not a rereader, really. It's bad. I'm not a rereader at all. But some of these books I know that my husband's going to like to read, and some of these books I know my daughter will hopefully eventually like to read. So I figured why not get them in hardcover. And so those ones I just don't know about, you know, like historical fiction, but it was too good of a price, and it's a book I'm really, really excited about because anything that has to do with the library, I'm in for. And then I got all 3 from the Scythe series. This next stack came from a place up in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It is called Dixon Street Bookshop, I believe, or bookstore. I can't really remember which one, but we went there a couple weeks back after helping a friend move into her apartment, and we found quite this stack. You'll see in just a second. So we have Firekeeper's Daughter, which this cover, it is so pretty. I am 100% that person who will buy a book based off of its cover. And that was one of those ones that whenever I saw it, I knew I needed to have it. We have Deep Light, which that one sounds really good if you don't know anything about it. It is put on my Instagram page, This Bookish Cottage, and you can learn more about what that actually is all about. We have Kingdom of Ice and Bone. I was a little silly goose and I literally looked everywhere to see, is this the first book of a series? First book of a series. And I was like, it's nowhere. It must be the first book of a series. Guys, it's literally written right on the back. It's not enough. So now I have to buy the first book and in hardback. Yay. Okay, this is a series, and I was missing one, but I'm no longer missing one. So we have Stalking Jack the Ripper, Capturing the Devil. And I do not think these are in the correct order, just so you know. Escaping from Houdini. And I did happen to find the one about Dracula at Books A Million in hardcover for $5 the other day. It was the craziest story. I was elated because I really didn't want to start this series until I had that one, because it's number 2 in the series. So I don't want to start number 1 and then not be able to find number 2 forever and then have 3 and 4 just sitting there looking at me like, hey, you ever gonna get to us? So I finally found number 2 so I can actually start this series. Then we have Kingdom of the Wicked, and I did only buy the first one. I do now have the complete set, which I'm excited about, but I did not buy them all from there. And then last but not least, we have Engines of Empires. I don't know anything about this book, but it is on my TBR for this month, and it will be read because it looks really, really good. But this bad boy, like, he's thick. 3 other books that I have forgotten to add to the books that I have bought off of Marketplace or off of books, off of pages that are on Facebook, is we have Hedging Your Bets, which I think this is going to be super, super cute for, like, obviously this month because of February. Obviously for this month, like, you knew what month it was if you're watching this later on. Then we have Sanctuary of the Shadow. And, I mean, she's pretty. I don't love the yellow. I'm not a huge yellow fan, but she's pretty. And then we have Never, which is even prettier. And did I buy her specifically for the cover? Yes, 100%. Did I also buy her because she has to do with Peter Pan? Also, yes. Our next stacks of books are, there's a lot. And this is not everything. I will not be able to go through everything that we have bought from any of these specific places because I just don't have the energy. And I do not remember where everything came from. So I'm sure that there's going to be some later on that will be like, oh man, I wish I would have put that in the video. But I don't remember where everything came from. So this entire section is going to be books that came from Savers or Goodwill or like Potter's House, which is another sort of same sort of concept. Anything along those lines. That's where these things came from. Again, I could not tell you which one came from where. And then my husband also bought a lot of these for me as well, and I'm not sure where he got them either. So to start off with, my favorite find that we have is that he found City of Bones, but not just the City of Bones. He found the entire series minus 2 of the books. No, I'm sorry. He found, yes, minus 2 of the books except for the very, very last set of books. The Chain of Iron and Chain of Gold. And we did happen to find Chain of Thorns in a little library, which is kind of what started us in on, hey, we should probably get all of these because now that we have like the last book of the entire series, we should probably go ahead and start at the beginning. So he did. He found, and they're a mix mash of paper covers and then also hardcovers. So it is what it is on that one. I am not going to go through trying to correct this. We got the entire series of Miss Peregrine. The other one is currently by my bedside because I'm reading it today, and I did forget to grab it. But this is one that we got from there. We got the Mara Dyer trilogy, all 3, hence trilogy. We have Straight On Till Morning and Part of Your World. I have been dying to get my hands on any of these, but they're always just kind of expensive to me because as much as I love them, I don't know. I just have a feeling that they were going to be a little too expensive for my blood. And so then Cody found these at a thrift store of all places. I mean, it's amazing. And they're hardcover. So now I obviously have to get all of them in hardcover, which I'm not really mad about. If you guys could see the disaster that is currently becoming this shelf, it's insane. Oh, that one came from Goodwill. No, Savers. That one I do remember. That one came from Savers. And I only bought her because she's pink. A couple more that we have is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Just read that one. I'll give a review on that later. Danger to Herself and Others. Losing Brave. Sand. I have no idea what that one's about. The Tea Girl and the Hummingbird. Oh, and the Hummingbird. No. The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane. The Atlas 6. All the Missing Girls. A Flicker in the Dark. State of Wonder. This one is a bit of a cheat. We technically found these 2 of a series at a thrift store, and then I had found the first set or the first book with these, but it was like smaller. It was literally like this tall, and then like it was one of those multimedia or whatever, the mass media produced books, and I hated it because you can't stand them next to each other and then be pretty because of the complete opposite sides. So we did find the other one. Gosh, how can I show this book in the worst possible way? There we go. Hood. It's an entire series. You have Scarlet and then you have Tuck as well. So now we actually have the proper sizes, and they're just gorgeous. I love them. Among the Stones. The Castle School for Troubled Girls. In the Afterlight. Deep Blue. Lost Roses. A Banquet of Consequences. Exile Music, which, can we just talk about how pretty that cover is as well? I mean, I'm all for historical fiction, but if historical fiction can also be this beautiful, like, oh, I love her so much. But I also really love like pastel colors and things like that, and that's kind of what that's reminding me of. Seeker, which we also know nothing about, but it was cool because it shimmered. Literally the only reason I bought it. The Godmother. Just cute cover. Mirror Mirror. The Lost Girls of Paris. I love any book that has to do with Paris. Have I ever been to Paris? No. Will I ever go to Paris? Probably not. But I love all the books that have to do with it. Dear Edward. Good Company. The Forgetting Time. Where the Crawdads Sing, Glory Over Everything, which this is actually a sequel to a book called The Kitchen House. And if you haven't read either of those, I highly recommend it. They are an emotional roller coaster for sure, but amazing, which I also got that book from Goodwill, but just forgot to bring it up here. Wicked, and like an amazing copy of it. London Seance Society, Garment of Shadows, and The Fifth Heart. So I'm not sure that I have any more. I probably do, but we are running out of time with this video. So I will do another session of books tomorrow, later on this week, whenever we finally have some more daylight. But for right now, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I want to reorganize my books. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't already. Bye, guys. I just need you guys to see the wreckage. That is the bookcase once I have gone through a video that I did not plan out ahead of time.